Another thing that like we're using these action flexes, like they're new to us, right? And like Carl was saying, we're skeptical at first because they're like toys, like we were raised differently. Even our padded sticks were hard, but these action flexes, what they allow you to do is like that headhunter game. All these people, like Carl was saying, all these people would not have participated. You wouldn't have this access to so many different people if it weren't for the fact that we were using, these sparring weapons were more, how do you say, like safer,
Yeah,
accessible.
yeah, people were more willing to,
Yeah.
to exchange up with you, you know.
Because you get hit, it just means you get hit. Doesn't mean you're going to the hospital or you get stitches or you get a cut over your face. So another thing that we did that some we did melees, the first melees.
Well, we met there, yeah. We did them in media.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we were doing it there, you know.
But this was Hazleton, right?
Hazleton, yeah.
This huge field, and how many all these crews from different places, all positioned all throughout the field. How many crews were there, you think? Like at least
10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 different crews. Sometimes you stuck two smaller crews together so that you'd have,
Yeah.
and then among touring would have these different scenarios. Sometimes two big sides. Sometimes all the crews would be on their own. Sometimes they band together, but we were able to do like a lot of reps of melees, of group on group fighting, and
It was the other way to showcase, because we already had that wolf pack thing going.
Yeah, it allowed us to use.
So he made those melees, like he was showcasing us, because we knew we were already good at that, and it was fun, man. Like 100. It's not what people think, and it's headhunter rules still. Like,
It's
and
still
then
headhunter
and there
rules.
was the honor system. If you got hit, and sometimes guys wouldn't take their headshots. A lot of us were like that at the time, but we know we got hit or we got hit, and you ignore it, and like now it's a character thing. You gotta adjust your character, but for the most part, people walked off the way when they were supposed to walk off, and it's real. Like, if I don't know if you guys have ever seen like big group on group fights, in the first exchange, guys are with weapons, guys are hurt right away, and you see them on the ground or they're walking or they're trying to run out of there from the pain. So we used to put our hands like the action flex and you just walk off. So the initial crash, pop, 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 and then you see people walking off. I'm like, man, this is awesome. Like, here's this toy game, but the rules allow it to look almost realistic, like the way people stop fighting in a real fight.
And if you ever look at footage of riots, it's a lot like that. That's why people throw stuff at each other,
Yeah,
because
they don't want to get hurt.
when two groups come together with weapons, it's costly.
Yeah.
But we were able to see a lot of that, a lot of those mechanics going on. It was great.
Yeah, and we were a small crew, so
Right.
we were not the big engagers of things. So, we would let people people engage, and then you start to flank, and because we were used to doing that already. Like that's how you fight big groups on the street if you're getting jumped. So, but everybody has to be skilled to run a tactic like that. And Antoine used to say, always ran in small group, but everybody was always training. So he said, your tactics are only good for people who are if everybody's skilled. And I thought that was a compliment. And then you think about it, it's like, yeah, well, what if you have to bring people with you that don't do this?
Right.
They don't fight, And I've been in those scenarios for real where, you're about to get jumped and there's like 3 good, really skilled guys, and then there's 4 guys who don't know anything. You're like, oh man, we gotta protect these dudes.
And there's girlfriends.
And there's girlfriends, like, look, just throw shit at them, and when they curl up, we'll chase them down, like that kind of stuff. So on the spot, you gotta give them a tactic that's gonna make you win. So yeah, they definitely had a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because our thing is based on a father and 3 sons.
Right.
Right.
And like for our tactics to work, you also have to know the other guy very well. Like, so it's our brothers. So we know how each other's gonna move. We know we've played these tactics before over and over and over again. So we know what's gonna happen. We just there's certain communications that happen.
Yeah.
Very minimal communications, right?
Like no words.
No words.
All
Very
you look
few.
you just look at a dude, you look at the person,
Yeah.
and everybody moves.
Or like you're looking at a crowd of people, and everyone knows who you're going to go after first because it's obvious. Like it's as obvious as like a light bulb,
Yeah.
and everyone goes after them. Because it's a hunting like we operate in, like wolfpack tactics or hunting tactics, as opposed to, you know, the bigger formations which are, you know, require more,
To meet up, right?
yeah,
They communicate and then they go, and then there's they already, it's like they're one mind, and that's how we train guys. We train
Yeah.
everybody to think as if two people are one person,
yeah,
and there's limitations to to that strategy.
you can't hold ground, right?
Yeah,
It's hard to.
You're on the move.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're being chased by 100 people, then
Right.
you know you're running to a building and fighting in doorways and stairwells, getting on the roofs, jumping from roof to roof, coming out. Like you're not sitting there on 4 guys fighting 100 guys in the middle of the street. That's not going to work.
Right, and the ultimate goal of that tactic is really to take out opponents, is
It's attrition.
attrition, right?
Yeah.
So that's,
To get away,
yeah,
right? To get away, like
to create,
Yeah.
if you're creating a space, you're creating a space so that you can
You
run
can-
through that
you can
space,
leave, yeah.
right?
because if there's 4 against that many people, you're
Right.
not trying to beat them. Because there's a better way to do that.
Right.
You don't do that with 4 guys. Like you were jumped on,
Right,
and then you're trying to run. So a lot of our experience was that, like, there's a few of us, a bunch of guys are doing it, and we're fighting just to get out of there, you know,
Mhm.
for all the reasons. Like you don't want to get jumped, you know, cops are coming, you know, all that stuff. Like you can't just stick around once you're putting a bolo to somebody, you know, and you have to like you got to think about where all the exits are. And so that's how we fought. And then you meet these bigger groups like at SIOP, and they have their tactic is different, and they're using bigger groups, and they're different. Meaning even their small man tactics, their like 4-man tactics or 3-man tactics are also different
Right.
from what we're doing. Like we're based on boom, boom, moving around, and they were doing all the things, passing people to each other. You know, we learned it because
yeah,
it's just not how we thought. Our thought was like chop, 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 run, keep running until, because that's the stuff my father was doing. You know, they weren't moving. You know, if you were going to attack people, different tactic, different weapons too. So